and had the realization that she was either going to die from cancer or she was going to die from the chemotherapy. And she chose hospice just because the ride on the chemotherapy was so horrible that she couldn't take it anymore.
My friend said that the pain of brushing his teeth was so intense, like the sores in his mouth from the chemo, and that once cancer went into remission, and then it came back. And by the way, this cancer came very quickly after vaccination. It was one of those where, you can get into that all day long if you want to really get into a deep conspiracy theory that's got some real facts to it. But there's something called SV40, and they found SV40 in some of the mRNA vaccines. SV40 is simian virus 40, and it's a virus that was contracted, that people got because they used kidney cells from monkeys in order to cultivate these vaccines. This is like known about for a long time, and in certain batches they've tested positive for SV40, which is like some just legacy material that they have that they make vaccines out of. And he was one of the lucky ones.
It sucks, man.
Yeah, he was a young dude. He was in his 40s, early 40s. Fit, young guy. Cancer came on like a fucking tidal wave.
Just a freight train mowed him down. How much time did he have between diagnosis
Well,
and death?
I got him connected with Gary Brecka, and Gary Brecka helped him quite a bit, and that's how he originally got through it, and it got over it. He was okay again, and went into remission. He said he's feeling pretty good, and then, man, it wasn't more than a year and a half, 2 years later, it came back with a vengeance. And he was dead just, 6 months later.
Does it change how you view life, your own life, when that happens close to you?
It's just shocking that healthy, fit people get something like that. So, and it happens so quickly. This is, like I said, my suspicions is it's connected to the vaccine. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that everybody who got that mRNA vaccine is going to die of cancer. I think it's a contamination issue. That some of the batches had it and some of the batches didn't. And then some people react very differently to whatever's in it. But with him, man, it got him. And it's not uncommon. There's a shitload of ignored cases of what they're calling turbo cancer that people have gotten after the mRNA vaccine. Like it's barely a conspiracy theory. It's more likely an ignored, inconvenient fact that these pharmaceutical drug companies are trying to ignore.
Do you think they were going upstream from that, the pharmaceutical companies or people that were pushing to try to find what perhaps they thought would be the fix to the solution? Do you think that they were doing the best that they could and just their enthusiasm outstripped their capabilities, or they pushed stuff a little bit too early? Or was it as deep of as a conspiracy that people think, and that behind the scenes they're trying to reduce overall global population?
I don't go that way. I don't go to the reduce overall global population, but I do understand why people would think that, because there have been a bunch of people that are supposedly philanthropists, Bill Gates, that have talked about reducing overall population being a goal, and that goal could be, like, Bill Gates is actually quoted saying that goal could be achieved through vaccines. Like what the fuck does that mean? Reducing global population through vaccines? How? Well, one way is what is it, DDP or DTP vaccine? Diphtheria something and pertussis. So they were caught in Africa. One of the vaccines that they were using on women in Africa turned out it's tetanus, right? Diphtheria, tetanus, and pertussis had HCG in it, which is an endocrine disruptor. I don't know what's the exact specific description of it, but what it was essentially doing was rendering these women infertile. And so they were supposedly vaccinating them for tetanus and these other diseases, but really what it was doing was they were making these women infertile, and they were experimenting on them. And they were doing this in Africa. They like to experiment in places where not a lot of people are watching, and there's not a lot of infrastructure and not a lot of internet connection, and they can get away with trying stuff on people. So this concept of reducing population through vaccination, there's some real world examples of people doing that. But, why? I don't know. I think if you find out about how much money was generated during the vaccine pandemic, during the COVID pandemic,
yeah,
that is the most likely scenario. They were just trying to make an enormous amount of money.